went from hating my life practicing law to selling an escape room business for $26 million. 2015, I started a 9-to-5 job working at a big law firm in Dallas, Texas. I was working in this group called Mergers and Acquisitions, which is a group that basically helps companies buy and sell businesses. Being an attorney is always what I wanted to do. My dad was a lawyer. I had a bunch of lawyers in my family. When I finally got to be able to practice law at a big law firm, big prestigious thing, wearing business casual and talking to all these smart people, I was stoked about doing it. The first deal that I ever got staffed on, they wanted me to work through the weekend to help them get the deal out the door. And I was super excited to do it. I come home, sit on the couch with my wife, and we start watching TV together. My heart is beating faster. It felt like I had just ran a marathon and I hadn't done anything. I had been in the office all weekend, and she could feel that my palms were sweaty. And so she asked me what was wrong. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong. This is something that I've never felt before. And we start just Googling like fast heartbeat, sweaty palms, feeling like having a heart attack. And it started like anxiety attack. And I'd never had an anxiety attack in my life. Here I was at this job that I had spent a lot of money to get, working on my first project. I had anxiety about the idea of going back into the office and seeing these people that I'd spent all weekend with and working on this project that I was excited about. But when I got into the details, it was super boring. And so that first experience that made me realize that I wasn't going to be able to be a lawyer for the rest of my life working at a big law firm. And I needed to figure out a way to get out of practicing law. And I had no idea how to do it. I started doing some research because I had no idea how people made money outside of working a job. And so I was trying to pay attention to anybody that was making money and how they were doing it. And so I stumbled across this article in Market Watch. So it's called The Unbelievably Lucrative Business of Escape Rooms. And it talks about how there were these people that were renting these small rooms and putting puzzles in them. I Googled escape rooms in Dallas, Texas, and I started making a spreadsheet of every escape room that existed within 20 square miles of where I was practicing law. Back then, you could see the online bookings of the room. So every day when I got into the office, I would pull up all of the escape rooms and I would write down how many bookings they had for that day. And I would just track day by day how much each of those escape rooms around me was making in revenue, because I could see what the revenue was just by looking on their website. Then I went to the best performing escape rooms and I would do their rooms over and over again. And I would itemize in my head what they had put in the rooms and how much I thought it would cost. So I would go and I'd say, okay, there's a padlock there. That's $4. There's a desk there. How did they make that door open? How do you find an electrician? What does an electrician cost? And I just started outlining how much the businesses were making and then how much I thought the rooms would cost to build. 5 months after I felt confident that I had built out a model of how much the escape rooms were making and how much they cost, I quit my big law job. I moved to Utah with my wife and my 2-year-old daughter, and we started the build out on an escape bus in order for us to start building our escape room business. After we'd finished the escape bus, it allowed us to go to birthday parties and corporate events in order to make enough money to actually build the brick and mortar location. Having that cash flow stream allowed us to invest a lot more in the experiences in our brick and mortar location than our competitors, which really set us apart right from the beginning. So just 2 years into the escape room business, we realized that we could make a lot more money if we had more concepts under one roof than just the escape room business. So we started adding trampoline parks, axe throwing. We actually developed a couple new concepts from scratch, and we had built a second corporate location, and we quickly added an additional 5 right after that. 2019, it was actually the first year that there were more closures in the escape room and trampoline park business than openings. And so me as the owner, I felt like the industry was maturing and it was going to be harder and harder to continue to grow at the rate that we had. I individually started to get interested in different things. I couldn't picture myself as a 40-year-old opening up escape room businesses across the country. So in 2020, I decided it was time to start looking at selling the business. And I actually sold off the core of the business in one transaction. When I look back at the route that I picked in order to leave the law, and I talk to entrepreneurs that are trying to make it work, or people that are stuck in a 9-to-5 job that are wanting to make their own money, a lot of times they go for an idea that has to be massive. They think that they have to build the next Apple or the next Microsoft. And I was glad that I had picked something that was going to change my world instead of the world. An escape room business is never going to change. An escape room business is never going to win an award for Entrepreneur of the Year, most likely. But it was something that was local. There was built-in demand for it. People understood it. And there was already a group of people that were wanting to experience an escape room. And I just needed to build a product for them that was serviceable in order to make it happen. Once I found that the product was working and there was product market fit, instead of sucking all of the business out of the cash to pay for my lifestyle, I continued to aggressively pursue growth and add new concepts and try to build something that was substantial so that would be attractive to a buyer. To recap, I started a job as a lawyer, which I hated. I had no idea how to make money, so I started paying attention to people that were making money. I found escape rooms, which I knew nothing about. I started it in 2016 and I sold it in 2022 for $26 million. If you're seeing this part of the video, it's because you owe me a like and a subscribe. So go ahead and do that now, and we will be even Steven. Peace.